Hello, it's Beverly with the Intuitive Interior. It is time for the January 2026 I Ching reading. Um, this is not the whole new year just yet in Chinese astrology because Chinese astrology is on the lunar calendar. Now, granted, February 4th is the official beginning for the Chinese astrology charting because that is based on the solar new year. And February 17th is officially the lunar New Year celebration. So wanted to get that cleared up right up front. So this good chunk of the next, well, all of January actually, and a little bit of February, is still finishing up that last little bit of the snake, that shedding year. It's kind of been hurried along a little bit because that fire energy of the Yang fire horse, it's getting hot. It's you already feel a lot of that warmth. I mean, I could put my hand over here by my candles in the back and go, ooh, yeah, there's some warmth coming in here. I can feel it, but I don't have to have my hand in the fire just yet. That's not a good thing. So it is imperative that if you have anything that needs to be released, now is the time to do so. I'm releasing this on a day earlier than I would normally, or actually a week earlier than I normally would, because I want to make sure that people have that impetus, that motivation of the changing of the calendar year to be that push of, well, what are you going to release? What are you going to shift out of? And also, when you let go of something, what are you ready to bring in? What kind of invitation are you putting out there for something new to come in? So the first card that I want to show is from Vicky Iskandar's deck. This is the Earth Ox card. This is the Yin Earth Ox month. And on this, there's a woman who appears to be doing Tai Chi in front of a beautiful bridge that has a circle opening, and she's standing in the middle of a small stream with lots of rocks and big rocks and trees and grass around. She is, there's some crystals in front of it, and above her head on the bridge is the image of an ox. So that yin earth energy is, it's like the grass, it's flowers, it's all the plants that are coming up. So all this stuff, this new growth that's happening. And the ox energy is very consistent. It's slower moving. It's not necessarily plodding, but it's just taking its time. It knows where it wants to go, and don't rush it. So that's kind of the overall energy that we're going to expect in the month of January. Because of the spiritual nature of both the yin earth elements in the heavenly pillar, that the yin earth, and also the ox also has that yin earth. This is a very spiritual combination. This pillar contains generosity, kindness, harmony. It's the associated with Saturn. It builds strength through perseverance and discipline. Earth is the element that's associated with the center of the home. It's very important. That is all about balance. You need to make sure you're looking at the spiritual balance, the financial balance, your physical health balance, health balance. All of those things together are going to be up in January. So great month to address your taxes, great month to look at, well, what else do I need to prepare for the spring cleaning? Nobody's going to say bad words if you decide to make January the month that you embark on a new health regimen. It's also really important for us to be taking that time to ground so that we can have the clarity and the strong foundation of what needs to come next. So that's kind of where we are right now. It's really looking at How are you merging all of those areas of health? Now, the next card, the card that is also goes along in the I Ching for the month of the Yin Earth Ox, is this number 50 or 25. It's called Innocence. It's essentially a little baby in a lotus flower that is sitting at the third eye of what looks to be an adult, because you've got these eyes staring at you. The words here are a trusting nature, originality, spontaneity, open-heartedness, simplicity, and the unexpected. When this card comes up, it's talking about looking at the world from a new perspective, as if you are seeing things for the first time, even if it's something that you've been doing on a regular basis. This is a great month to take the opportunity to just shift your perspective a bit. Look at it as if you were visiting your home for the first time, or you were commuting to work for the first time, and marveling at the signs and noticing all those small details that you don't always pay attention to. It is also that I guess what I'm trying to say here is, one of the other challenges we have when this card comes up is this idea that, oh, I couldn't possibly take on this particular task. I'm too little. No, you're not too much of a baby. You're not too much. Not too vulnerable. You can actually handle a lot more than what you think you can. And so, it's, while it is important to look at things with new eyes, know that you still have that inner strength. Because I remember when I had children, especially my firstborn, I could not imagine that how on earth is this little tiny vulnerable creature going to ever survive growing up. I mean, how are they going to live? And I kept thinking, well, if I don't support the head just right, it's going to break off, or if I don't do this just right, then they're going to get crushed, or and yet tough little guys, they find their way to bounce back at almost any of the issues that life brings their way. The first clarifying card here, it's number 55. It's called Grace. Or excuse me, 22. I can't read backwards. This is talking about adornment, bringing out beauty, elegance, the outer as a reflection of the inner, vanity, charisma, and self-expression. This is, I think it's a little bit of a warning not to get too caught up in your own hype. And it is, okay, I'm trying to find that clarifying card here, or the thing. It's talking about how grace sometimes is also looked at star power, because when you see somebody who has true grace, they are often very beautiful, or they're viewed as like this essence, charisma, I think some people would use, or in French they'd say je ne sais quoi. There's a certain je ne sais quoi, that undefinable quality. But the real beauty is never like this fake forced thing. You see some people who go to excess with their clothing, with their makeup, with their plastic surgery. They're trying to strive for an externalized ideal rather than focusing on the inner. Now, I am not opposed to, doing a few little extra things to cover the grays, and doing what I can to keep my skin as fresh as possible. But I also am focusing more on that inner world, making sure that I am grounded in who I am. That then helps shine that inner light out. And that is what attracts people to you and how you know what what you are, who you want to surround yourself with. One of the little comments here, I got to just read this here. It says, awareness of beauty is inextricably bound with a sense of impermanence, and everywhere in nature, beauty is born, fades, and returns again to beget beauty in a continuous creative unfoldment. We create many problems for ourselves by wanting to demystify and possess beauty and grace, to reproduce an essentially ephemeral experience and make it permanent. When all efforts fail, as they inevitably must, we become stuck in an impossible longing to recreate what was lost through some contrivance of our own. And if we can manage to withdraw from this desire to grasp and possess, the experience of grace becomes a source of inner nourishment that deepens our aesthetic pleasure and joy in life. And the beauty of nature is love. You'll see this month could be where, it is, at least in the northern hemisphere, it's cold, it's dreary, it's not quite as dreary as February, because that's just the way things are, because like right now still there's a lot of Christmas lights up, a lot of those festive post gatherings happening because December was too busy. But it's the grasping, it's the desperation for, well, how can I look the way I used to? That's never going to happen because that's in the past. The stream has flowed past that particular moment in time. And now it is time for you to embrace the new phase of life. Now, the line 5, the clarifying line on this, 5 is how you're existing in the world, as and interacting with those around you. It says, it is not necessary for a creation to be great or for it even to be seen by anyone else. The basic requirement is to open up to playfulness, experimenting like a child. The world is full of possibilities now, so drop any tendency to play judge with yourself or those around you. Judgment causes contraction and crushes joy. Innocence delights in self-expression and is willing to risk appearing goofy or making a mess. So that creation energy lives in the West. If you need a little extra oomph about, just making sure that you're not contracting and crushing your joy, hang out in the West part of your space and see if you can't allow yourself to be a little more playful. The second clarifying card is number 27. It's called The Corners of the Mouth. And it's a young, looks like a young Asian child with their eyes closed, their mouth open. You see the 2 teeth on the top and 2 teeth on the bottom. And it looks like there is a tree, a flowering tree that is crawling up her face or reflected on her face. This says nourishment, health, well-being, providing for others, creating balance, nourishing the body, mind, and spirit. When I was looking at this one, again, it talks a lot about health. And remember, I talked earlier about the center, about how the Earth Ox is about making sure that the center part is balanced, that you have the physical, financial, spiritual health, and all those mental health, all those things in balance. This is really focusing on health and how you need, not only is it the food you're eating, but the music you're listening to, the movies you're watching, the people you're hanging around with. It is the time now to, it's not just because it's the new year, okay? You can always start a new health focus anytime. But when you switch over from all of the indulgences of the holidays, it feels good to refocus on health, on making sure that you know what it is that you're putting in your mouth and how is it feeling in your body. Look at your stress level. If are you able to maintain a lifestyle that is healthy, that is nourishing to you? If not, then maybe it's time to look at a different lifestyle. And if you can't, I mean, everybody's going to do the best you can. That's all I can say. But it also talks about the relationships. Um, the focus line on this one is number 3. And that's where you are taking the inner work, the noticing of how you're feeling inside, and getting ready to move out of the inner world into the external world. This seems like a good time to evaluate who you're hanging out with. Because although it appears satisfying, the company you keep or your lifestyle itself is not really nourishing you. On a fundamental level, you're half starved. To continue in this fashion will deplete you to the point of collapse, in which case you will have no choice but to clean up your act. Forewarned is forearmed. Because we're also getting ready to move into a double fire year with that yang fire and that yang and the horse that has the yang fire energy, the heart and the eyes are both impacted by this yang fire element. So if you're not paying attention, you might find your eyes might be bothering you a little bit more this next year. You might be starting to feel a little pressure, or maybe your glasses need to be, you need a new prescription. Or if you've had even the slightest twinge with your heart, or already have heart issues, pay attention. Don't blow this off, because this energy that's coming in is very strong. And if that's already a weak part of your body, it is time to notice and stop ignoring it. It's not going to magically go away. All right. So the final card is number 54. It's called the Marrying Maiden. And you see what appears to be the torso of a woman in a wedding dress with chains binding her, even as she's holding a beautiful bouquet of red flowers, but they're roses, and roses have thorns. The words on this is a compromising situation, subordination, succumbing to seduction, manipulation, and low self-esteem. None of those sound great, even though the picture was pretty. Not a great card. So the term the marrying maiden is a metaphor, because in Chinese customs, they would accept, or a man would find an additional wife, in quotes, for his pleasure, essentially a concubine. This was widely accepted back in the day. It's, now people just simply call them mistresses, but these women would actually live in the same household just to service the man, or to be there forever for his pleasure. It was a terrible situation for both the wife and for this concubine. There was no security. She was only there as a toy, if you will. So because this is coming up here, this says that there could be a shock to the system coming for many of you who are now realizing that you were played with, that you were used, that you were compromised, because it says that you may find that you sold yourself short by entering into agreements that in no way reflect what you really want or need, and it seems either difficult or impossible now to get out of them. If this is the case, it is crucial to reflect unemotionally on how you have cooperated in the seduction and what was motivating your consent. There's going to be some really hard questions coming up this month, and you have to be honest with yourself. It is again looking at things from that innocent viewpoint, that 5-year-old viewpoint, asking, well, why did I find it important to support this idea or to support that group? Am I benefiting from this? Maybe not. Oh no, but my entire social network is wrapped up in this. What do I do? The only way through the pain of being compromised is to allow yourself to feel it and to take responsibility for your part in it. And that's the first essential step towards release and a renewal of self-respect. You really do have the key to the chains that are binding you. You are not stuck. You are not trapped. You can absolutely let yourself out of that place. And this focus line was 1. This is that introspection. This is you having to go within and ask, why? Why did I succumb to the seduction? Why did I allow myself to be manipulated? Why did I feel buying into this particular storyline so important to my being? Says it is wise in any situation to be alert to what exactly it is that you are getting yourself into before you sign your name on the dotted line. If it might make sense in the overall scheme of things to put yourself at someone else's disposal, but only if your inner sense tells you that you will truly benefit from the experience. Remember, a person who is really worthy of such trust will never exploit you and will use every opportunity to encourage you to continue and to grow and mature to the point that you can stand on your own. There are many organizations out there that tell you that you are unable to succeed if it's not for them. There are many organizations and groups out there who tell you that you're unworthy, that you're stained, that you're damaged somehow. But hey, through us, you can achieve salvation. You can achieve wholeness. You can achieve, all these other things. We have all of that within our disposal. It's great to have those organizations as supports. But if the goal of these groups are to keep you chained to them, to keep you locked in to that system, that's just a comfortable prison. So to recap, we have a lot of opportunity to really find our center this month, to figure out how to look at life in a whole new frame of mind, to go back to that naive, new way of shifting our perspectives, to embrace our own grace, our own je ne sais quoi, to let that light shine through, and to play. That's the other thing. We can really finding all that through play, through this reconnecting and recommitting to our health overall, so that we can unlock ourselves from the bad habits, from the stinking thinking, and from the frenemies that are keeping you small and that are keeping you confined. This is going to be a great month. This is the time to finally let go of those things. And if you have need some help with any of those, I am here. I can help you with sessions. We can talk about your Chinese astrology. We can also talk about how you can disconnect from those things by doing energy hygiene. I will have more videos of those up. There will be more classes in the future. So just keep an eye on this channel. Thank you so much. And please like, share, and subscribe.